You ordered what?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute. Am I muted? No. I'm going to assume I'm not muted. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And, well, I'm supposed to say good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone, because then it's not just ladies and gentlemen. It's everyone, in case you're neither a lady or a gentleman, right? Like, loads of people these days are like, I'm not a gentleman or a lady. I don't know. I keep trying to say it, but I got so used to ladies and gentlemen over my lifetime that it's hard to unlearn. We'll start again. Good evening. Oh no, morning. Damn it. All right. I'm going to get it perfect this time, right? Pretend like the show hasn't started yet and you're just signed in and I've nailed the... I'll end the intro real quick. Ready? Right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Dean Callan Show. I have an amazing show for you today. I've got the inimitable, the epic, the magical, and the most talented drinksmith I think I've ever met. I'm actually not bragging about having been able to taste her drinks. If you're from a country where she hasn't worked the bar and you haven't had a chance to taste some of her drinks, you're missing out. She makes epic drinks, right? I first met her at a global cocktail competition, and like her drinks just tasted so much better than everyone else, and she had wicked chat and stuff. You know, when you're a judge of something, you don't know who's going to win. You kind of think like, this person's done well, that person's done well, but you've done your voting. Like, we really didn't know, but you know, a couple of us were like, well, she's definitely got the best drinks. Those are some tasty drinks. And then bam, she won. And then she started working at the Beaufort bar at the Savoy, and I was like, sweet, because I love the Savoy. The Savoy's our special treat, myself and my wife. And unfortunately, COVID hit. And looks like she's moved on. I'd like to discuss that with her. So, Joe, if I can bring you in, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Last.
How are you?
The second intro was better, right? I look like I knew what I was doing.
I think that's the best introduction I've ever had. So
well,
kudos.
I was just shooting from the hip. I don't have any cue cards. I was just saying it as it is, you know, as it comes out. And you do make, like, I don't know if anyone's actually told you this, but you do make absolutely epic drinks. So, like,
thank you very much.
Yeah, they're always so tasty.
It's a personal preference, but 1 out of a few 100,000 is always a good ratio.
Yeah, well, lucky you can make drinks so quick, huh? That's getting that volume in, hitting your 10,000 hours early.
Yeah, high volume at the Savoy.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's surprisingly more than people would assume, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, everyone, it looks kind of, it's that swan thing, right? Like, everyone looks like they're just chilling and like kind of casually putting stuff together, but drinks are going out at pace. I know, because I go to bars and I drink quite quickly. You might have noticed. And I quaff my drinks, they're gone. And then there's a lot of this. Not at Savoy.
I definitely did say the other day that quaffable was one of my favourite words associated to drinks. So clearly,
well, you know, I had this plan to write books in every city that I traveled to, where I would go to the best bar according to recommendations I was given, and then go to like their favorite bar, like the next close bar that they said was good, you know, like you're taking the bartender recommendation, and then calculate how long it takes me to walk to that bar, get a taxi, all that. And then I was going to make this like little booklet called Quaff and Scurry, right? Quaff and Scurry. And it would tell you how far away the nearest bar was from the bar you're in. And you could,
you're going to have to trademark that, Dean.
I say
too many ideas. You have too many ideas. Just can't keep up.
I can't do them all. I just have to give them away, you know.
You're not Superman.
What's that?
You're not Superman.
No, I wish. I wouldn't have this belly. Right. So, in the interest of trying to keep to half an hour, right? This is my goal. I want to get a wham bam, like exciting but concise show going. So I've organized some questions for you, which I promptly forgot. I just threw them at you as I was thinking of them. Right, so I'm gonna be very unprofessional and pull this out. So, right now, question number 1. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I feel like I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I'm really nervous.
Well, you're
What if
not
I
going to
don't
win any
want?
prizes if well, I'll tell you what. Let's start without one of the hard grueling questions that I've got. I'm gonna do the double barrel question. First of all, what have you been up to over lockdown? And secondly, right, can you walk me as you answer that question through a drink using one of the products that you now represent? Right, so
Okay,
I'll get a drink in my face right away.
you're multitasking. Okay, that is a
Yeah.
challenge. Okay, so during lockdown, I don't know, the first one was a bit different to this one, I guess. I think the first one felt a lot more lockdowny
Yeah.
compared to this one. Everyone's been kind of floating around. Okay, stage one. I'm just going to introduce it now. So stage one, you need a mixing glass, Mr. Cullen. Got it?
Got it.
Check. So first lockdown, me and Max did Booze Brain to keep ourselves busy.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really good to engage with brand ambassadors. At the time, I wasn't one, so it was really good to just see how it worked and really kind of see their kind of different feathers on their cap. Is that the
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
That's
I think so. I've never heard that saying, but
they're really inspiring. So it was really good to get them all together on one platform and just share that with everyone. Okay, step two, we have 30 mils of Talisker 10,
30.
which I got in mini form because I enjoy minis. So we're going to be making a kind of Martinez twist.
Ooh. I love Manhattans, right? And Martinez's. Like that
Yeah, I
style of
mean, it's
drink is just.
technically the same. It's just I'm going to put a bit of maraschino orange bitters in there.
I just need to
But
taste the Talisker 10 to remember what it tastes like.
how could you forget? Right, we're going to go in. I'm going to make one too.
So we got 30 of Talisker 10.
Yeah, kind of a bit of a reverse one and a lot of vermouth. So, and then 60 mils of vermouth. And then I've got another mini. I can't get it in the screen. There we go. I've never made an entire cocktail with minis. I'm actually really excited.
What's with the minis? I've been hunting minis, to be fair. They're difficult to buy in bulk, minis.
Yeah, I haven't bought them in bulk. I guess when lockdown happened the first time, minis is kind of the best way to share liquid. So I had a few arrive through my door, and then my collection
I see.
expanded. And now I have quite a lot, so I'm excited to actually be using them. So it goes in, very lofty. Found it.
And it was 30.
Yeah.
Was it 30 of vermouth?
60.
60.
A lot.
Oh, it's reverse. Okay, I see.
The first cocktail I ever had when I went to Savoy as a guest in the American bar actually was a Martinez, and I'll never forget that drink. So it's been a firm favourite ever since, and I'm not biased, but it was a really nice Martinez. So now we're doing that now. Then you've got 2 dashes of orange bitters.
Yep.
Or whatever you want to put in. Oh, of course, you're well equipped. And 5 mils of maraschino. One spoon, which I'm probably going to overpour, but you know.
I'm going to use my 5 mil measure in my Difford's jigger. Have you seen Difford's jigger?
No.
It's actually really good. Like,
course
it's
it is.
actually legitimately, like, see this? You've got
left of it.
ounces and in the bottom you've got little stages. So when you look down from the top, there's actual physical little bits in there. So you see the liquid get to the top of the physical bit, and you can tell that it's 2.5 and 5 mil. It's super accurate.
I've done with
also,
that when I worked behind bars. So then ice in Tom.
ice.
Ice, yeah. Stuff. So yeah, this lockdown's been a bit different. We've been working, which has been interesting because obviously it's all from home. So I've never really had an office job, not once.
Oh,
in my
so
life.
you haven't been into the office?
No, my
Wow.
office is my kitchen. There's a little Harry Potter cupboard upstairs.
I was actually going to ask you, like, how was the first day of like work, but We'll save that for later. So you've been at home. Is that all the ingredients?
Yeah, that's all. I'm gonna wiggle it while you do your thing. Mine's gonna make lots of noise, so apologies everyone.
So you haven't been into the office at all?
No, not once.
And this lockdown you've been working, so I guess you found this lockdown a little less stressful than the last one.
Yeah, I mean, managed to fill our diaries last time, which was good because it's just so weird going from working so many hours to just nothing. You don't really know what to do with yourself. So this time it has been great to have something going on. But also a bit weird as well, working and replying to loads of emails. I'm not an email person, so I tend to waffle on a lot on emails. I'm like, okay, so this is like a normal conversation. So I'm like, hi, how are you? How's your day? Tell me a life story. And most of them are like, please get to the point, Joe. I've got 3 other million emails to answer. And I'm like, they don't say this, but I'm assuming that's what they're thinking.
I think honestly, like one of the questions I was going to ask you as well, I guess we could just jump right into it because we've only got 20 minutes or something. I don't know how.
Don't panic, dude. Okay.
Yeah. So like, I was a brand ambassador before, right? Like probably before your time. I don't know if like before we met, I was a brand ambassador, and I found like it took a while for my mind to shift from being a bartender to being a marketing person, right? Like I was being a brand ambassador and doing my thing as a brand ambassador, but effectively it felt like I would be back behind the bar sometime soon, if that made sense. Like, and since you haven't been into the office, do you feel like a brand ambassador yet, or do you feel like you're a bartender kind of that's taken the role and is about to start, you know, when you get out into the crowd?
So I haven't had the chance to really get out into many bars yet, which is a bit of a shame because that's probably the thing that I'm most excited about, is just kind of supporting and building those relationships with everyone in this role. But I guess I had a 6-month break. Speaking of a break, I left my glass in the freezer, so I'm going to go get it.
Okay, wait, I've made an advert for exactly this, right? I've got a 1-minute ad. Yeah, I'm gonna go to it. So this is my first attempt at an ad because Mitch didn't answer the phone today, so no Mitch's minute.
How did your ad go?
I did it really quickly because I was just like, what am I going to do? Oh, I'll take like this ice studio thing and I'll just be like, buy ice from Ice Studio, you know?
Well, I think
it
you've
looks
hit
really
the nail on the
lame
head
when you watch it back.
there. So
What's that?
I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's pretty simple. Ice is good. Go to Ice Studio.
Right? That's what I would do. Are we putting a twist, or like I've got multiple options for citrus. Are you ready for this? So
Actually.
I have ruby grapefruit.
Okay.
I have orange. I have yuzu. I have lemon. I have mandarin, and I have bergamot.
We're going to go with lemon.
Lemon.
Actually.
Rock and roll. Good choice.
Works really well with the Talisker. Again, I've not got lemon.
Where did I put all my knives? Ah, there we go. And do you put a cherry with it or no? Can you hear me?
I don't normally put a cherry in. Sorry. It's like you didn't tell me I was coming on the show. I wasn't prepared at all.
That's all right. I'm never prepared. We wing it.
Put cherry in because with the amount of vermouth that I've used, it's kind of sweet enough.
Yep.
So I don't really put one in, but you do you, Mr. Callum.
And you know what? The proportions are perfect with Remy's new Savage glass.
Aren't they beautiful?
Cheers. I'm starting to fall in love with this glassware. Cheers.
There you go. What do you think?
I love it.
Good.
It's
I mean, you
delicious.
made it. It's good.
Oh, that is so good. So,
Delicious.
I had a bunch of other questions for you, right? Um, one of them being, I guess this one feels a little bit more like close to what we were just talking about. You started the job, you've been in lockdown the whole time. Was it emotional for you leaving the Beaufort bar the way it happened?
Definitely, yeah. I guess the way it happened, obviously, when we were closing everything down, none of us really knew how much everything would change. 2020 is or was definitely a massive year for the Beaufort Bar. So the Beaufort Bar actually
Mm,
turned 10 this year. Happy birthday, BB!
yeah.
And we had many plans as a team to celebrate that with people that had worked there in the past, like alumni, and we had loads of plans. And it's kind of a bit of a shame not to have been able to share that with everyone. We were really excited as a team. We were kind of we were probably working up to that
Yeah.
10th birthday for about 2 years,
Oh,
and to not be able to complete the kind of trilogy of our
yeah.
menus and just celebrate with each other about with the both bar was actually something really difficult. That's what was hard for me to leave.
Yeah,
Is that
you had a really well gelled team the last time I was there. It was phenomenal.
mm, yeah,
Everyone played their part. Everyone had their station nailed down. It was great. Like
yeah.
every
We
every
still
every
have
part
a
of it.
WhatsApp group that we send some, annoying
So
messages
the
to each other
WhatsApp group's still active.
always.
Nice. When lockdown finishes, if you guys want to come here for a drink, I'll shout you a few drinks. You can have
Yeah, group of
a Beaufort Bar
yeah.
staff party. There was a staff party here for the American bar once. So
Yeah, I remember that was I think when Matt started at
yeah,
the
it was
American
loads
Bar.
of fun. Oh, Max
Yeah.
can come as well. He can be an honorary Beaufort Bar for the
Nah.
night. Nope. Right. So another juicy question for you. Right. I'm gonna go back to my official questions that I put together.
I'm really proud of you, by the way.
I know, right? It's really hard to kind of stick to a plan for me. So right, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to do any forward planning for when things get lifted and everything goes back to normal, but what brand experience, event, or drink are you most excited to bring to your favorite bar when you're back in the field again?
So yeah, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to people and kind of do much creative stuff, I guess. At the moment, the main thing is asking what people want rather than me going in and being like, this is what I want to do. I
Yep.
think it's so important at the moment, especially from a brand perspective, is just to make sure that well, for me personally, at least in my role, is to make sure that everyone's okay and actually just to check in and show some support by just having a drink and having a chat and making sure that 2020 hasn't completely got everyone down. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to just having some supportive chats over the bar and just seeing what I can do for them,
Exactly. There's
be
nothing.
it an ambassador or just a friend.
Yeah, there's nothing better than as a brand ambassador going into a bar and listening, right? And I know coming from me, that sounds absolutely absurd, because but I can't help but constantly talk all the time. But
Really?
I found that if you actually do just ask people what they want, or you listen to them and you find out what's going on in their world and what's happening in the scene, then you can feed that back up through the ranks to the people, at different levels within the business. And when I say different levels, I don't mean they're different hierarchies, they're your bosses or more senior,
Mm.
but different people have different roles. And I always thought that the brand ambassador's role was to be the eyes and ears and heart of the brand on the ground, and
Yeah,
go
to
out and
have that.
find out what's happening in the on trade, find out what's happening in the off trade, find out what consumers are looking for. Try drinks before you have to spend money taking photos of them and putting them on a website or something. Test them out, see how they go, and constantly feed back to your brand managers and brand directors, because then it gives them a more real sense. They can do like pay £40,000 to do some market research with an agency, but it's all how the agency asks the questions and who they're going to. But you're actually out in the real world doing the eyes and ears and heart job. And for you to say within what you've been doing it 3 months?
Yeah, 3 months. I would say like 3 weeks and then 2.5 months behind the screen.
Yeah. Well, look, for that short a time, and you've already got the right mindset of going out to listen. It makes me feel like you're going to enjoy the brand ambassador world, because it can be a little bit rough if you let it get to you.
You are a veteran of the brand ambassador, so
yeah, I did it for a long time.
You did indeed.
And the reason I was able to keep my energy level up that whole time was because I was engaging with people, and the bar trade, like when you go out and you have a few drinks with people and you listen to them and you chat with them, they lift you up. They bring that energy level up. So you're gonna love it when you get back out and travel around. Do you get to go to all of the distilleries? Right, because Talisker basically owns all the distilleries, right?
Not all. A large proportion. We are definitely lucky, and I am definitely lucky to work with a lot of whiskey, and a lot of delicious liquid. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to visit the distilleries yet, but there are definitely going to be some distillery tours in the pipeline. Hopefully, we can share. Hopefully, I can share kind of my journey because I've not really been to any of the distilleries. With everyone. So because I'm going to be fresh eyes, so I'll be really excited. So that's going to be really
if you need someone to follow you with a camera, right? I've just bought a very fancy camera. I'm going to get a gimbal. I can make a little documentary and stuff. Get like a return on investment. It'll be great. All right. So I'm going to quiz you. Is that all right?
Quiz me. I'm going to get it all wrong.
Well, no, you can't get things wrong. Right. So. This one.
Singleton.
Right? Singleton. Yes. So I've been asked this several times and I always forget it. There's the Singleton of Dufftown or Duffton, right? And then there's the other Singleton that's not Duffton.
Yeah.
What's the story there? Do you know?
Yeah, so Singleton's a brand of whiskey. And it's kind of there to represent maybe 3 distilleries that have maybe been using blends or maybe haven't had their limelight. And it's kind of Singleton is a brand of whiskey that looks after 3 distilleries. So you've got Duffton, Glendullan, and Glenord. And Duffton is the one that you'll find in our market, so Great Britain and Europe. And then Glenord is in Asia, and then Glendullan you find in airports in America and Canada and.
That's the one.
But it's basically a set of whiskies that have their own kind of history, but are delicious and full of flavour. And we just want to shine a light on them. And the way we're doing that is to put them under the Singleton umbrella. And we ship off certain whiskies for pallets, different pallets. Which
so
is
it's
really
kind
cool.
of like if Duffton was its own brand, it might not be quite big enough to be its own brand as a like, I guess, like, if you were to describe it as a movie, it wouldn't be a box office brand because it wouldn't be able to adhere to volume, right? And then the Glendullan's the same. Glendullan's a reasonably small distillery, no?
Actually, Duffton's one of our largest producers, in terms of volume. Yeah, it goes into a blend of ours, but
I see. All right.
Yeah, so actually it produces a lot of volume, and the distillery is really cool because it's just really efficient, and there's no space in between the stills. You can't put your foot in between the stills.
Yeah, you can't go for a tour. I tried to get a tour in there and they're not into it.
I'll try and work on it. I haven't even had a tour yet. But
it's one of the most beautiful spots as well, because there's this little tiny stream running down the side of it. I used to, when I was an ambassador for Monkey, I used to take people there. Every time someone come to the distillery, I'd take them to that spot and show them the distillery from afar, because William Grant is actually buried in the cemetery across the street.
Oh, really?
Yep.
No
And
way.
his family home when he was building this distillery is literally across the creek. Like you could throw a tennis ball from his old house to Duffton Distillery. Right.
It's
So
kind of nice how all of the brands is really close together in Speyside and in
yeah, it's
Dublin.
insane. Like so basically what you're saying is if this whiskey was a movie, it would be The Avengers.
Yeah. I think that's your brain. I'm gonna just say
Yeah,
yes.
it's not like because it's like The Avengers is one title, but it represents like Spider-Man and Iron Man and like
Exactly
Thor.
that. Actually, yeah, that's a really good
You know,
analogy.
and Thor, there's nothing like Thor's got his own movie, but Avengers is like
I might email you for some ideas, actually.
super cool.
I've got one too. Here's one I made earlier. So you've got a 15 actually, haven't you?
Yeah, that's the 15.
So we have 12, 15 and 18, and 15 is probably a bit more spicy, but all of them are really like fruity. I sent out some donuts as a kind of little gift, I guess, and to everyone recently, just to showcase that this is kind of a fun malt to work with.
Just the donuts or minis and a donut? Or...
It was minis and a donut,
Yeah.
and yours got lost in the post, Dean.
Oh no.
No, really sorry. I managed to get your address from Google Earth, and yeah, it didn't work out.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'll
It's all
bring
good.
them
Doesn't
to you
worry me.
when they're around.
I've got big bottles here, so I'll
Yeah, you've got the real deal.
I'll put the donut in retro nasal through. We're using the power of my memory.
Amazing.
Awesome. Right. So did you answer what you're looking forward to bringing to the bar world, or you really can't get a solid
Kind
grasp
of
on it until you start going out there, right?
A support thing, but then also I've always like you remember when we met in the Jamari villa, and I think since then my fascination of like the science behind flavor and aroma molecules and all the websites that they use to showcase how flavor work, like different ingredients work with different ingredients because they share the same aroma molecules.
Yep.
Basically now I've just become like some sort of science flavor nerd and love kind of exploring how flavor is linked to memory, how flavor is linked to so many more things than we actually realize. And I kind of want to link whiskey to this. It's kind of
nice.
a creative approach to talking about whiskey instead of maybe the traditional armchair approach.
Yeah. So you're good, and you're going to start doing kind of pairings and stuff like that as well. Is that
Fingers
the idea?
crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. I wanted to just keep it fun. That's
very
my
cool.
main goal.
Awesome. Well, look, I'm going to try to wrap this up in the half hour, right? And it'll be the first time I've ever done it. So I'm going to check to see if anyone's got any questions coming in. Kate Jackson has sent love hearts. Juan Jose Liza has said the brain. Oh, actually, I can add them, right?
Hello, Leo.
Everyone's saying hi. This is my favorite comment. Jenny, you're winning on the comments, okay? Total winner.
She always wins on the comments.
Diogo. And Timothy is backing you on this. I think it was the reference to Avengers being absolutely absurd. Right, cool. Well, look,
everyone's brain doesn't work quite as wonderfully as yours, Dean. So.
Well, to me it makes sense, right? You've got like a standalone.
No, it does make sense. You just have to explain it.
How is that not obvious? Avengers Assemble types. No,
it's been a long day.
Okay, maybe you're more of a DC person, like Justice League.
No.
Okay, all right.
Avengers is my preference. I just didn't get the link, but let's not highlight that too much, okay?
Look, like I used to do dumb shit when I talked to whiskey geeks. That like I'd say stuff like, oh, like. When I started this job, I was given a golden promise that under certain optics, I'd be viewed as like, I'd be given praise. I'd get a concerto of praise, and and they'd be like, what are you talking about? And I was just trying to like throw in as many geeky references to stuff as I possibly could in normal sentences. And then they just didn't pick up on it. But like, I was like, aren't you supposed to be whiskey geeks? Like, I just named a bunch of
You
different
just use all the long words
things.
and then you'll fit in. That's how I'm
What's
doing
that?
it. I said, you just use all the long words when you start and then you fit in.
Yeah.
Like, since I started the job, the one word that I've been using in all of my tastings, never used this word before in my life, is plethora.
Oh,
We have
plethora.
a plethora of whiskey. There's
Yeah.
a plethora of layers of flavour. Never used this word before, but now it's like my word.
The word I picked up was astringency and viscosity. I started saying like, oh, you get this like astringency from it, you know, and I'd be like constantly using words like viscosity, astringency, esterification, whichever way. That's a really good one.
A podcast the other day with Mr. Colin Dunn, and he uses the word gargantuan a lot.
Gargantuan.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little book of whiskey ambassador words to make you fit in.
Well, do you know dipsomaniac? Dipsomaniac. Right, dipsomaniac is great. Okay, we'll end it on dipsomaniac, but dipsomaniac is great because before there was a word alcoholic, as far as I understand, people would be diagnosed by a doctor as being dipsomaniacs. So, for example, I understand that Churchill was diagnosed as a dipsomaniac, and a dipsomaniac is someone who medically needs alcohol to function. So, like in Prohibition, when he went to the US, he was given alcohol because he was a dipsomaniac. He needed alcohol to like function in his normal everyday. But they stopped giving people like, you know, what is it? What's the thing that a prescription for alcohol for being dipsomaniacs? Dipsomania died out.
The best.
It's probably not really a shame that doctors stopped saying you should drink booze to function. Yeah. But you know, still the word should have lived on somehow. There should be a bar called dipsomania.
Word, but maybe the definition of it we should maybe.
Yeah.
Put under the table.
Well, hey, look, it's history, you know.
Exactly, it is history.
Well, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for being such a good sport, and I hope to in the near future, when everything's back to normal, actually invite you in and make you some drinks and stuff like that. That would be my dream.
Yeah, I can't wait. Thank you for having me. It's been nice to have a little smiley chat. Awesome. And see all of you soon, hopefully.
Thank you. I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, a massive thank you to Joe for coming on to the show. I am trying to make the show a little bit more concise. As you might have seen, last week's episode was an hour and a half long. So trying to bring them down to half an hour might make it a little bit more digestible. And today, early this morning, or was it last night, really late last night, like 2 a.m. or something like that, I had a chat with a good old friend of mine called Lee Potter Kavanagh. And Lee Potter Kavanagh is working for a gin called 78 Degree Gin. And 78 Degree or Better Gin, if I can find where I put the bottle, is, I have to say, absolutely delicious. Okay, so I am going to make myself, for the end of my show, a dry martini with this stuff. It's fucking excellent. I signed LPC up for a 2-minute chat. It was meant to be a 2-minute chat, but it went for over an hour. And at the end of the hour, I got Lee to summarize everything we've been talking about in 2 minutes. I'm going to show you that 2 minutes, and then I'm going to upload the full hour to YouTube for historical reference. I don't know, in case I get hit by a bus and people find it interesting to find out what I was chatting shit about last night. I don't know. You can make your own call on whether or not it was a good idea to put a whole hour of us chatting gin up. But here's 2 minutes of LPC. But in 2 minutes, or less,
I'll do my best.
Give the people that may still be tuned in to the Dean Callan Show live a 2-minute breakdown of Adelaide Hills Distillery 78.
Cool. So this is the 78 degrees better gin. So what the hell does that mean? Obviously, that's a pretty big statement. At Adelaide Hills Distillery, our mantra for what we do is crafted for better. We unpack that in 4 different ways: better quality, better for the planet, so sustainability measures, better for Indigenous Australians. So when we use ingredients that have been cultivated by them for tens of thousands of years, we try to buy off Indigenous-owned companies and promote others to do the same. And number 4 is better for your local community. So improve your local community. So that's something we're doing with this. So it's a charity gin. We give a portion of the gin sales to charity. So we've been supporting COVID EAD down in Melbourne, which has been feeding out-of-work bartenders during lockdown, during their 5-month lockdown. And we'll continue to support other kind of worthy causes with the gin. We then unpack that, where instead of doing a traditional cocktail competition, we've put together a program where venues who want to support the same message and want to do things better, as long as they raise money for a charity or organization they choose in their local neighborhood for 3 months, we give them the best possible price support we can, and we get a really good price on that gin. If we do a good job of that and they do a great job of that, we're going to achieve more better, best better, lots of better. We break the English language. But basically everyone's
all the better gins.
But everyone's going to do better. And then from that, we take the 10 best better from around the country down to Adelaide, do a showcase. And while we're down there, we pick the champion purveyor of better for that year. They'll come back and make the 2021 vintage with our distiller, Sasha. They'll get their their bartender names on the bottle, and they'll help choose the national charities for the following year. So it's a pretty exciting whole program. I don't know if I got that in 2 minutes, but I did my best.
Well,
it's a lot to talk about.
I'll include it regardless. It's good. Thank you so much, man. Right, yeah. Obviously, that's a snippet from over an hour long conversation that we had. But what I will do is I will read the back of this in case you just want it paraphrased. Better Gin's botanical profile for the 2020 vintage. Fresh pine, resinous notes of spice with citrus hints, delicate spicy base tone, blood lime, acidic, crisp and clean, lemon myrtle, and there's plenty of a lemon myrtle flavor in there, bright lemon sherbet, lemon verbena, a native pepperberry, which has organic herbal notes. This stuff, I'm not even joking, like, it's got it's so bright and fresh and citrusy, with a really nice balance of a kind of peppery, piney juniper that just sits underneath all of this like amazing floral citrus. We can't get it here. They're only selling it in Australia, and I've asked them to hold on to as many bottles of this vintage as I can get them to hang on to. I'm going to purchase them, see if Lee can bring them over. And it's so good with a twist, but I don't even think you need it. I feel like a really heavy lemon twist at the moment to kind of cleanse my palate. So I'm going to put a lot of lemon on there. And guys, thanks for tuning in. It's been the Dean Callan Show. Stay safe, stay classy, support your local bars, buy some bottled cocktails. Oh, so good.
You ordered what?